Hello.
Hello.
I'm just seeing if like today's a holiday or something, because I don't see Andrea on. He didn't post anything on the chat either.
Possible. In France, it's holiday.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, that could be why. Okay, okay. All right. I was unaware. Um, okay. Let's keep this short then, because yeah, I don't want to, if it's a holiday, I don't want to use too much of your time, and especially like with Andre not here. But he said he wanted to go over zero point 0.5 though. That's what's really confusing. Um, okay. Oh wait, he just hopped on. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Hey Andre.
Hello,
Yeah, we're just
good
we're
night.
just wondering like if it's a holiday or something, and like we're like, what's going on? But cool, cool, you're here.
Yeah, no, it's half term for my son. He's on holidays, but I'm not.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Makes sense, makes sense. Cool. Yeah, because I know today we wanted to kind of go over a little bit of, thinking about zero point 0.5,
Mhm.
the strategy, what the plans are, etc. Um, so yeah, I think today is gonna be pretty critical of that. So, and I know like we
Okay.
also moved it from last week to did it today as well.
Yes. So let me get the agenda started. One, two, three. Okay. So chat. So you may sign in if you want. Yeah. Okay. I don't think we have any action item. So it would be 0 up to 5 planning. Okay. Just before we dive into the planning, um, there's something I wanted to mention. So the CDF does this a series of kind of video calls, video chats hosted by the TechStrong with different topics. There is one every month. And we're thinking in towards the end of November of doing one about CDEvents. So I'm trying to think of like who could be on that and what the topic could be. So I just wanted to bring it up in case you're interested in participating or you have some ideas for topics. So I was thinking if it'd be good to have maybe a few different folks from different companies or different use cases, maybe discussing about seed events or how seed events is beneficial for them or is not, and those kind of things.
Cool.
So,
Yeah,
but
please. Yeah, depending on what time it is, but please, yeah, add me because I definitely would love to do that. One thing too is I think for the next whatever conference that this is appropriate for, what I think we should do is talk about CD events, but because usually we go to conferences and we talk about, just CD events in general. But I think we could expand the type of conferences we go to if we talk about things like implementation. And what I mean by that is because usually we're like going to, CI, CD related, conferences, but we can even go to things like open source related conferences, just like with tooling in general. And we could talk about, like for instance, like me and what me and David is currently working on with the SDKs, like our battle with code generation and our story, we could also talk about that from a CDEvents point of view as well. So I think that's another way we can kind of help market CDEvents. I'll talk with my manager to kind of see if we can figure out where those talks could potentially be. But I want to work with you, Andrea, as well, so we can, maybe kind of broaden the scope, rather than just being only in CI/CD. Maybe we just need to touch upon a few other areas, just because, it is part of CI/CD, but like not all companies might not be going to those conferences. But if we expand a little bit, we might be able to hit the people that are missing those particular conferences, right? So I think that might be a good approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, within marketing CDEvents beyond CI/CD conferences already, I mean, we've been Open Source Summit, and Linux Foundation Member Summit. But yeah, so always with the perspective of kind of CI/CD and interoperability. But yeah, I like the idea of, like
just more conferences. Yeah, exactly.
other topics as well. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
agreed.
So
and then real quick, so with that being said, so once we solve the code generation portion, David, would you be interested in doing a talk with me on code generation and our lessons learned, etc.?
Why not? But I'm
Sure.
not
All right. Sounds good then.
I'm not very fluent in English, to be
Oh,
to be honest.
it's fine. Yeah, half of it could be, I think you're French, right? So half
Yes.
of it could be in French and then half of it may be in English. It's perfect. No, but yeah, we'll figure something out. I think and your English is good, like you don't have to, I don't think you have to worry. Like you have no problem speaking. Like I completely understand you.
Okay. Also, as part of my own project, CDVs, I also plan to do some call for to reply some for Devox France, and maybe force them if I have something in time to request to do a presentation.
Okay.
This kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So first,
Great.
my plan is to propose some talk about CDEvents. Now I know a little bit about it, and about CDVs maybe also to explain to a large different audience. Devox France is very oriented for Java developer and a little bit about practice, DevOps, AI, but it could be
Cool. Yeah, it sounds exciting.
nice. Yes, I think I spoke once at Devox France, but it wasn't CDEvents. Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds very good. So, since we are talking about conferences, there will be a Linux Foundation Member Summit in November, and I have a talk about CDEvents there. So I'm planning to do kind of my usual CDEvents talk, what CDEvents about, the kind of problem we try to solve, and yeah, so what's new in the project, kind of project updates, and what's next, and how to contribute. But if there are things that you think are, or stories that you think they are worth including, please let me know, and we can chat about it. And
Cool. All right. Yeah, sounds good.
cool. Right. Anything else before we go into the planning type of thing? Oh, maybe
what's up?
so something else I could bring up. I had a chat today with some of the folks at Fidelity that they're using CDEvents internally and through Jenkins. And I think they suggest it would be interesting maybe to share stories with anyone who might be using CDEvents with Spinnaker to see, what kind of problems or advantages or
Yes,
benefits or issues with,
I would love
we can.
that. Can we actually get a meeting with them? Do you have a contact? I would love because like we've run into a few
Yes.
issues. So I'm curious if they ran into the same issues. Because if they have,
Uh,
then this is definitely something that we should solve like as priority. But we've been slow with like getting this doc out. So but yeah, let's if you could send me their names, I want to set up a meeting with them and kind of talk about our internal struggles
yeah.
with some of the
Yeah.
specs.
So absolutely. So what I can do, I can send an email to you and the folks on Fidelity. And then, we can decide whether to set up like a dedicated meeting, or we could even use this space if you think it's appropriate
Okay.
to discuss as you prefer. But yeah, okay. Yes. No. Okay. And I think that's the last thing. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting us know, David. David. Sorry. Um, okay. So trying to figure out. Oh, we have the roadmap here, right? Can you still see what I'm sharing if I'm on another different tab? I'm not sure how this works.
Yeah. It shows that whole Chrome, if you're using Chrome, the browser, it shows all of the browser.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So there is this project that we could try and use, or we could go then, and we could go into, what we have in issues here. Plan for the 0.5 milestone and go for this as well.
Okay. Um, so how do you feel about, because like right now we have milestones, which is just like one set day to like have all these things done by. Uh, I that type of long-term thinking doesn't really work well for me, but if it works well for other people, then we can keep with it. But what I like to do is allocate, like I like to work in smaller batches. So like, take like a few GitHub issues and then allocate when we want to get this done by, and then slowly we will chip away at the milestone. But focus primarily on the set of issues first and then move to the next set of issues. Um, because I feel like right now, like if we just look at the whole list, it's a little overwhelming. So I think coming at it from more of like a, like with a hammer and a chisel as opposed to like a just looking at it from afar. What do you think, Andrea?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm happy with the idea of like selecting a small set of issues we look at. Um, Though I guess to select them, to pick them, we might want to. I mean, we need to still, I guess, choose them among all
Yes.
that are there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. How do you want to track this? Is there a way we can? I mean, they're like GitHub projects, and we could, like have
Yeah.
like short term and issues in there or things like that. Because the other problem with Milestone is that Milestone are like repo specific.
hmm
And so it's not possible to mix like issues that are on different repos. Like if you have something that you want to do on the Rust SDK and something that you want to do on the spec, they cannot be in the same milestone. Oh, I mean, they can be, but you need to
Gotcha.
create this. You need to create a milestone in every repo, and you need to sync the names. And
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think a project makes sense for now, and then we can kind of whatchamacallit, uh, if we need to make any sort of switch up in the future. But I think for 0.5, we can start with this.
right. So and right now it looks like um, there is this project that looks like this, but I guess based on what you say, Ben, we might want to create a different view where we have a kind of priority-oriented view, where we see like the things that we are working now, things that we want to work maybe midterm, and everything else, and then we go, we move things into the short term as we complete tasks.
Yeah. I
Does it
think I
make
think
sense?
that yeah, I think that makes sense. It's a little bit more agile too, which I really like. So yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so is this? No, this is a, I don't know. It's a roadmap type of view, but I don't know if we want to, maybe it's too specific. I never used it before. Or we could simply have something like table, and then just tables. Maybe we could use some label to indicate what it is that we want to work next, and then group by labels or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we could even just order it, like, have it grouped by oh, target date. Is there a target date? Like what's that?
Yeah, I think that that's what is let's see, target date. Okay, so we could just
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's all we need. So perfect.
Else,
right.
maybe we can add another status. Today you have just to do, in progress, and done, I guess. But what you want is to have the distinction between backlog and to do. If I use Agile, product backlog and to do is sprint backlog, I could say. So maybe it's just to split to do between what
Hmm.
is
All being worked on. Yeah. Or looked
and
at.
what we want to work next as
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then we can, I mean, if we want to, we can try to set like target dates. But yeah, so the Dorometric proof of concept, don't think it's really in progress anymore. All right. Okay, let's go through the list then. Include a short video on CDEvents.dev. Is that something any of us would like to work short term?
I think priority wise for 0.5, that's probably the lowest, honestly, on
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I agree. So I'll just try to go swiftly. Consider taking advantage of the list of task step types when qualifying event types. I think this relates to the work that the interoperability group started doing, and I think that work really never progressed. So
Yeah, they went with
um,
their own take on it. So yeah, I don't even know if this is relevant anymore, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, I'll just move it to the backlog for now. I
Yeah.
think actually I would even say probably CDEvents should be the reference at this point.
Hmm.
But yeah, so document general required feature for SDKs. So I think this is it's still relevant. It's like the general what do we want to have like as a requirement for an SDK. So ideas like we want to have unit test coverage,
Hmm.
conformance test. We want to be able to pin the spec version in the SDK or things like that. So that this is it's a documentation one, but it's probably along the lines of aligning what the SDKs look like across
Right, right.
languages. Um, so is this something we should looking working on short term? Do you think
Um,
it might be
one thing,
relevant for? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
go ahead.
One thing I
Sorry.
was gonna ask is do we only have 10 items? I thought we had more than 10 items for 0.5.
We might have so we need to add to the project.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, okay. All right, let's just
We,
yeah, do these first 10 then. Yeah, I was just like a little confused, like if some were missing or not, but okay. Yeah, for this particular one, I do like it. The sooner we do this, the less likely the SDKs will diverge and
Mhm.
potentially um if there's a bug in one SDK due to some implementation and then some other SDK mimics that, then that's going to be, and then one SDK actually does it correctly, then this having it have the same conformance test, the same like structure, and kind of following the same paradigms will help facilitate like those odd edge case bugs where like some SDKs have it versus not. So how important is it for 0.5 though? Um, I would say it's probably like it's still pretty low, but I would say it's definitely higher up on the list than what we've looked at thus far.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And this is something I could try maybe to start drafting for the next implementation working group. So
Okay,
we could
that'd be great.
review.
One thing I do want to call out though, under this is actually a pretty large task. If I mean, I'm sure you're aware, but like it's pretty large, right? Like you have to think about the type of unit test, you have to think about the type of conformance test, you have to think about, like version pinning. I mean, like it's a lot to think about. So I'm just a little bit worried that taking on such a big task first, rather than kind of like do the low hanging fruit first, like to kind of build some
Mhm.
steam towards 0.5. So that's more of the thought there. But let me know what like I said, if you want to take it though, it's completely fine. But I'm just saying that
Mm.
it might be a little bit of a longer one.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep it in the backlog then. So this is again the same as number two, I think, and move it to the backlog. So SDK conformance test from spec. This is kind of a subset of what I was talking about.
Right, right.
And so, but this is very old, and we should have Rust in here.
Hmm.
Then I don't know what what exists today. I think. I mean, I've checked that like in the Golang SDK, we have tests that verify that examples can be generated for the SDK, and
Hmm.
I think Jalander implemented the same for the Java one. For Python, I'm sure this is out of date, so that's not there. I don't know about the Rust SDK. I think there are tests like that.
Yes, we test against the version 0.3, 0.4, and master branch.
All right. So I would say this is probably mainly done. I don't think Python should be in here because it's not maintained right now. Um, but yeah, I can. Yeah, I need to check about the Java one.
So is the goal just to have these implemented in the four SDKs? Is that what this issue is?
yeah,
Okay,
I
okay,
think so.
easy enough. So
So
this one
maybe
actually seems, yeah, this one doesn't seem too bad, and it's pretty high priority. I mean, like it is a subset of the other one, but it lessens the scope to just conformance tests. So I think this would be a good one to start looking at.
right. So I'll add myself to it. Do we want to try and set target dates then, or we just
Yeah,
leave
let's
it?
set target dates. Let's try to be as detailed as possible. I mean, if we get it wrong, we can always move the date, but just having a date just at least gives us a goal for something to aim for. So um
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so I'm all for the dates, adding one.
Okay, so I guess this relates to the implementation working group. So I guess I could again try and like target the next implementation working group. Should be fine.
Great, great.
Okay, okay. Reusable event receiver, adapter, filter. Um, I'm not sure what this is about anymore. Oh, I think this was like a general discussion about what this component here in this picture, what it might look like. Maybe it's a discussion that is relevant for the implementation working group, and definitely not something relevant for
Yeah.
0.5. But I can. Okay. Okay, split the subject. I think this we discussed a few times. We added like to be considered. We had a few discussions, and I think we
Yeah, I'm
decided that
just
it's not high priority.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I just don't know like the value of it because like very like if it, like I said, like if it's n levels deep, but it's only one level deep, and moving it to the top level, like most of the time people aren't going to even be reading the events, right? Like they're not meant to be like looked at. And then in logging, it being like one level deep doesn't really help too much. Um, so that's why I'm not too concerned about this. Like, I'm okay just closing it, to be honest. I don't really think it helps, actually at all. Like, I think moving it one out one just doesn't really help it. So yeah, I just don't really see too much value in doing that. But that's why I wanted to talk with you all because like I just don't think there's too much value in doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I mean, it might look nice, or it might. I think the only value might be trying to find like commonalities between predicates, or maybe something in the generation of the documentation.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure it actually brings value. So I would tend to say we should focus our effort in things that have a clear value. So yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, yeah, let's close this for now then.
Okay. So this is a long outstanding. We have POCs. It should be updated to CDEvent 0.4. Actually, Andrew from Ericsson presented at the CD Mini Summit a POC with a few components and observability and everything, which I believe it was actually based on 0.4. So yeah, I pinged him already, but waiting for to be able to read them basically, because yeah, if we could get the code that he used
Yeah, it'd
for
be
his
great.
presentation, I think that would address this issue. Yeah, I actually removed myself from Assign, but I would leave it in the backlog for now.
All right.
And
then number 8, I will take that. I don't know what's left on it, but I think there's a couple that need to be changed, specifically in the links, I think. But I can definitely take it. And because this is going to be this is important for consistency reasons. So let's make the target date. I don't want to be too crazy with it, but let's try 2 weeks from now, just to be safe.
Okay, sounds good. Then we have removed and upgraded predicates for service removal consideration.
Yeah, this is more of just like the use cases. I just didn't understand the use case of removed. Yeah, it just didn't, I just didn't understand how useful, nor for continuous delivery tools that don't do it or don't have this concept of removal only upgrade. It might be weird because like some event or some consumers will be like, oh, our CD system doesn't have a removal event, we'll just use upgrade it. But then if another tool comes in and does have removal, it kind of adds this weird need where the tooling almost needed like to conform to what CDEvents does, which I don't know is a good idea, a good philosophy. So that's kind of like where the concern was. Is just more like in terms of interoperability, like swapping out a tool that does support it versus not might cause issues for the consumers down the road. So that's why I was thinking, like, does this even make sense? Should we just do removed? Anything that's removed is also just an upgrade just to make it easier. So yeah, that's kind of my thought there.
I have one questions on this use case, because for me, removed is, by example, in for a service when we define the artifact. Inside the artifact there is the version number, and it's when we remove, it means I explicitly say I remove this version from the cluster, from the running context. And it could be interesting when you have canary deployment, because when you don't have canary deployment, you can say the previous version was removed when the new version is deployed. But when you have canary deployment, you could have several versions at the same time. So it helps you in the timeline to see when version, where you have several versions, or when a new version was deployed on removed, etc. But it really depends of what we made by remove. Is it the service or is it the artifact that is mentioned? I have the same question regarding the ID of subject.
Semantics.
Some
Yeah,
yes.
I completely agree. You know, that's another thing, is because like what does removed mean, right? And removed for the service for me like means like the actual remove from like the definition from the artifact. So that's how I took it. But if that's not what it's meant to be defined as, we need to be very strict and very opinionated what we mean by these predicates, as well as these predicates tied to a subject. Because if we make them too vague, it's going to be very hard for tools down the road to make sense of things, because one tool might do it this way, another tool might do it another way, and again, it makes the lives of consumers very, very difficult. So so maybe this needs to be thought about a little bit more. First, we need to look at, when we look at this issue, what do we mean by removed? Can we make it make sense to where we can keep it? And then if not, then should we just consider removing it? So I think that's the two questions that we need to answer. Well, the first one being is going to leverage the second question, but I think the first question is, what do we mean by remove?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, semantics are really important here. I think just to give some historical context. This was when they were introduced, it was kind of thinking about Kubernetes or Knative type of services. So a service and application that has been installed on the cluster, and yeah, could be upgraded, meaning that a specific instance of this service has been changed to a new version.
Mhm.
But you could have like a new one created, a new service created maybe for the same application, but on a different version, like David was saying, in case of Canary deployment. And then the old version would be eventually removed. So I think that was the context this was designed with, the context that it was, that we had in mind when we introduced this. But definitely, I think we should
Clear up
make
this.
sure that
Yeah.
clarify. Yeah. Um,
Okay, so it sounds like there's two things. I think we need to first define the semantics, which it seems like we already kind of did, and then also define the use cases. And then, because it sounds like how I took it was more from a manifest or like an artifacts point of view, which is not how this was intended to be used and defined. So I think based off of your guys' suggestion, I'm in favor of actually keeping it now, but we just need to be clear on what it means. So if you want, you can also assign this one to me, but I will rely on Andrea to give the context in the GitHub issue. What the thought process is, what is the semantics, what are the use cases, and then we can uh, you know, update the docs to support that.
okay, that sounds good. So do we want to keep this then as a to-do or something that
Yeah,
we want
yeah.
to?
I think we need to, and I don't think it's too high priority, but like the less we can make CD events confusing, the better. So let's aim for a week after the 4th. Like, so just give me another extra week. Actually, just make it, yeah, I think that should be fine. I should be able to have that.
One more?
No, I
No.
was gonna say actually just make it like maybe a couple days after the 4th. Like I was thinking like a week, but I was like, probably don't need a week for that. Yeah, so the 6th should be good.
Sounds good. So, let's call it rolling plan. So we updated.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
And then this one has 16, so we're missing 6 items from this list. Because this only has 10, right? So we're missing, well, it used to have 10. We deleted one. So it has 9, but there's 16 on the other view, your tab to the left. So
yeah,
we're missing quite a few.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this one.
So
So this might be solved by just our talks about code generation and fixing code generation. Because if we come with a better model, this will actually just go away. So I'm working on that proposal now on code generation. It's still going to be a little bit. It might be like a few weeks before I get the proposal out. But we can just say that this is being worked on, but we don't know if it's actually in scope for 0.5. That's the issue.
okay. So what I'll do, can I?
Well, one thing too to consider is the proposal could be for 0.5, but the implementations could be far longer, right? So that's mostly the concern.
I'm trying to figure out how we add this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would just say like code generation proposal in regards to 215.
Oh, so you don't want to add this issue specifically?
Yeah, because it's technically this issue is solved. Well, this issue captures like something completely different. So like the proposal is going to handle this, but as a side effect, it's solving 215.
Is there an issue about the code generation?
I think so. I think it's in the working group sig. One sec, let me see. Yeah, it's in the working group sig. Come on.
Issues. This one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll add this to the project as well. So we new item is hidden to this view by
Filters.
filters.
What?
Okay.
I don't even know what that means.
Where is the all? Yeah, there you go. Oh, there is, I think this view filters over the 0.5 milestone, and there's no
Oh,
0.5
gotcha.
mile. It's annoying. So okay, let's remove this.
Oh, and there they all are. Perfect. That's all we needed to do. We just needed to add everything to the 0.5 milestone. Gotcha.
Okay, so the modeling language, then
Yeah, that's
Alison.
it. Yeah, that's to me that is being worked on, but like I said, it's still a few weeks out. Like it's probably going to be closer to like the end of November that this is done, or mid to end of November.
So I send it to you. I mark it as in progress, and I set a target date of mid-November. Let's say 18th of November or
Yeah,
19th.
that should, yeah, I would say probably closer to 19 would be better. Like more time the better.
So I have no more battery. I have to shut down.
All
See
right,
you.
all right, David. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Um, okay.
And then let me see here. What isn't in backlog? Okay, so consider at artifact dot. Oh, if you go back down, there's a really interesting one that consider adding artifact dot quarantined. What is that
Mm-hmm.
one? Oh,
It's new predicate for the artifact.
ooh, this is I
So
like this. I definitely like this. Let me think though. What are our current artifact predicates? There's what else is in there? Published? I know published is up there.
it's packaged, published, signed, removed. Um,
And
yeah.
then quarantined. Okay, I like that. So another thing though is quarantined. I'm just wondering if removed can just have a flag that says quarantined. Okay, it needs to be all right. There's definitely multiple ways to handle this. It's just whatever the best way is. But yeah, I definitely like this for 0.5. And plus, like when we give a talk about 0.5, it's not just going to be breaking changes. We'll be like, oh, we also added artifact.quarantine. So I think it makes it a little bit like we're also adding things too. So I think that might be nice to have for 0.5. Oh, downloaded, deleted. Oh, okay. So that's a little bit different. Okay, so quarantine. Yeah, quarantine I think would be a good one to have. I can definitely see a good use case for it.
Yeah, no, that's why I think it's so it was suggested as part of the work we did on 0.4.
Cool.
Um, right, so
But
where
yeah,
is
I
it?
think I think on Emil's comment that making auditing its own subject might be a good idea. Like I said, like there's definitely multiple ways to handle it. It's just we need to figure out what that is. Um, But let's plan for this for 0.5. Let's not allocate a date to it yet. Let's put it in the backlog. Um and yeah, let's put it in the backlog for now. And then I wonder if we can make it like top like I see there's like a top 3 in there. I wonder if we can just make it like yeah, like put like a top three. Yeah, just to make it so it stands out as like the next thing to work on, basically.
Right.
Okay, and that what does that mean? Just like really CD events when is that just like when like a proposal? Like what does that mean?
Yeah, it actually means making the release. But I guess this the target for this is to, you know, reach enough stability, or we are confident we can make a 1.0. So we are not going to do any breaking changes without
Right, right.
major version updates after that. Um, yeah, so that's the idea. It's something that, you know,
Just to have in our back of our minds every time we see it. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think from you know, adoption point of view would also help CD events. So after 0.5, maybe we might have a 0.6. But I think we should aim to try and get like a 1.0,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
too far farther from that, because yeah, I think it's just a number.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's also like say, okay, we're not breaking you if you adopt this now, and
Yep,
so
yep. No, 1.0 is
and
very important. So I completely agree. You know, like 1.0 means like breaking changes are, you know, only major revs, right? Um, so let's keep that in our minds at some point. But yeah, I don't think it's crucial right now.
this roadmap as well. Okay, POC dependency update through events. This was another idea of a POC we could do. I think it's yeah, for certainly would be nice to add this, but yeah, I don't know if that's anything that we can work on right away unless we have someone
Right, right.
looking into this.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, let's put it in the
Okay.
backlog for now. Oh, it's already there. All right,
Um,
never mind. Yeah.
yeah. So, and this is kind of the prerequisite for 19.
Yeah, yeah,
Define
yeah.
the requirements. So, what do we need to have? I think this is in the backlog as well.
Mhm.
Um, format of custom data, single value versus array.
Yeah, this definitely actually helps with like breaking changes if things are in array. So, um, but yeah, but like I said, like code generation, this might go away unless we use JSON schema for validation. So it really depends on like where JSON schema is going to live. So, yeah, I'd put this in the backlog because once that proposal goes out, it'll be more clear on how we can answer some of these questions.
Okay. Um,
Last change to build. Oh, that's a good
Add
idea.
the repository, including last change to build events.
Yeah, yeah.
So this was the idea was to yeah we have this build event
Hmm.
and to include basically a pointer to the top change that is included in a certain build to help with kind of connecting things together. So if we
Hmm.
know like from a build event what is the latest shard, I mean it will be multiple ones, but to know what the top one that is
Isn't that
there.
also true for like service upgraded though? Because we don't really say what we're upgrading from, do we? I don't think we do. I think that would be just as important, right? Yeah, continuous deployment events.
Okay, so just a second. So this is the build event. I guess build finished. Today we say, okay, well, we have this build that we did with this ID, and this is the artifact that we produced, but we don't say we don't say basically, and this is the repository. This is a URI reference. I mean, one could include a SHA in here, but we don't have a dedicated field to say what is the latest SHA from the repository that was built from.
Yeah, and that's I
Um,
think crucial. So I think it definitely needs to be added in there.
But there are some caveats, I guess, because a build could include multiple repositories. Well, not that as it is now. It only includes a single one. So, and then I guess you were saying about service.
If we go to upgraded, it doesn't say what we're upgrading from, I don't think, which I think is just as critical.
Yeah, so that would be I guess a separate issue.
Yeah, it would be separate, but I just thought about like when we were reading this, I'm like, oh, I think this also applies to service like upgraded. So let's also add that because I think that's pretty critical. If we can get that out in 0.5, that would be fantastic.
Okay. And
Why
then
does it look like that?
because it's not an issue yet, but I
Oh,
can
gotcha. Yeah,
when
convert
you
to issue.
convert to issue, put it in the spec, and then you can start adding labels to it and milestones to it. Anyways, let's then
Is that something you could potentially take, Andre, if you're gonna look at uh or maybe not. We can always save it for next time. Once we get the other stuff. But just curious, like if you wanted to take that one and the build
hmm,
one. Because they both seem
um
relatively small, but that's completely up to you.
no, that's fine. Yeah, I can do those kind of things. I've done them in previous releases, so
Okay.
I kind of went through the process already. So I could leave them in the backlog. I guess, yeah, this week I will be away for the week of the 17th. I will be away for the Linux Foundation Member Summit. Um, yeah, I could. Yeah, let's try and see. It's a bit optimistic.
Yeah, but no,
Uh,
we can always push the dates back. I think it's just more of like just have something to try to hit.
but yeah, so that keep them like under my radar.
Okay, cool.
Right. Um, yeah. So I guess clarified. So the remaining three, they're probably going good for the backlog, I would say.
Yeah, I think so.
Just because we are kind of getting close to the end of the meeting. I think. Yeah, so I don't know if everything is in here, but I guess we have a small subset of things that we can look at with a certain um, I was wondering if it would show here, but yeah, never mind. Let's remove this view.
Wait, I think it does, right? You have to put the I think the can you not add the target date to that the date
I mean,
fields?
this
What
yeah,
is
the
that?
target date is
No, but I
no,
meant
it's
like
just
in the date
yeah,
fields, if you click that, what does that do? Target date. Yeah, see? So that's kind of
uh-huh.
useful, right?
and then we should, can we filter with those actually with status to do, or is there R? Can we R things?
Maybe you could just do status again. I think you just do it. Maybe does both or ors it automatically. Let's see.
No.
Or is that an and? Oh, come on, GitHub. Okay. There's probably a way to do it, but yeah, we can figure that out in the next meeting.
Anyways, yeah. So we can see.
Yeah, I like this view. It like gives us like like really shows us like what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. I like that.
Okay.
And can you send me that project? I mean, I can find it, but just like send me that link. I just want to have that like in my window constantly to look at it. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
That's the other view. There you go. All right. Yeah, I think this was useful. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. Like,
So,
thank you again. Like, I think this is gonna really help organize like everything and just kind of help with like getting the ball rolling. So thank you again, Andre, for sharing the screen and doing all this. Okay, cool. I'm excited. So let's kind of get the start getting some of these issues knocked out. And then yeah, I'm excited to see our steps towards 0.5.
cool.
All right.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
Yep. See
Bye.
ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.